What's up, guys? It's Gone, and today we'll be looking into possible trades for Pirates face of the franchise, Bryan Reynolds. Recently, the Pirates GM has stated that he's expecting a Juan Soto-worthy package in order to acquire the services of Bryan Reynolds. Although by no means is going to receive that, he certainly has a case to receive one of the better hauls we've seen over the past decade for their stud center fielder. Since 2019, not many other hitters have been better at the plate than Reynolds. Besides the shortened 2020 season, the switch hitter has had an OPS plus above 125 in every year he's been in the major leagues. He's not a rental either. He has 3 seasons of arbitration left before he hits free agency, meaning that a team has more than enough time to work out an extension for him. Therefore, the team that is acquiring him is acquiring a franchise center fielder. In his age 27 season last year, Reynolds posted a very complete season, hitting .262 with 27 home runs and slugging .461. However, that is not his upside. In fact, the year prior, he posted one of the best seasons as a Pirate since MVP Andrew McCutchen, hitting .302 with a .390 on base percentage and .522 slugging. He also hit 24 home runs that year and led the league in triples. Simply put, this guy can hit and hit for some power. However, his 2021 season was for a team that only won 61 games that year, despite him posting an all-star 6-WAR season. That has seemed to be the trend for Reynolds, with him posting amazing stats for a poor team. Obviously, the timeline between Reynolds' peak and the Pirates' road back to contention do not line up, and the Pirates could profit more in the long run through a trade. So, what kind of package can the Pirates expect for Reynolds, and what team should be interested, in my opinion? We will go over possible trade packages for Reynolds and what teams can expect from him. But before we get on to the video, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but it also encourages me to create more videos like this one for you guys. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. Whenever talking about possible blockbuster trades recently, it feels criminal to not put the Dodgers on the list. They still have one of the league's best farm systems and, in this case, have a need with the center field position currently on track to be held by an unproven rookie in James Outman. With Bryan Reynolds, the Dodgers add a bit more veteran presence and stability to a team who is already relying on a couple rookies to take massive steps forward in their development. Long term, I think his prime matches up nicely to the primes of Freddie Freeman's and Mookie Betts's, while also aligning with the emergence of their top prospects. I wouldn't call them World Series favorites this year with this trade, but it certainly influences the odds heavily over the next couple of years. Due to having a top 5 farm system, the Dodgers can afford to trade for Reynolds while still keeping their S-tier prospects in Diego Cartaya and Miguel Vargas. In my trade, I have Reynolds being sent over in return for Michael Busch, Bobby Miller, and James Outman. James Outman would have most likely been the center fielder for the Dodgers without a Reynolds trade, so it makes sense for the rookie to be included in this trade, going to the Pirates. For upside pieces, the Pirates get a young flamethrower in Bobby Miller, who has the ace potential with his fastball that sits in the high 90s, and a nice utility bat in Michael Busch, who can provide some pop in the lineup. One reason that I can see this trade not going through, though, is that the Dodgers are now over the luxury tax even without this trade. And if a few moves were to happen, I believe it would be to dump some salary to get under that luxury tax. With the loss of their longtime center fielder in Kevin Kiermaier, the Rays are currently rolling with Jose Siri to be their center fielder both this season and in the long run. Now, don't get me wrong, Siri is a fine player and all, but for a contending team in the Rays, it wouldn't hurt to add a star in Reynolds to pair with tandem breakout candidates in Wander Franco and Vidal Brujan. With this trade, the Rays are my sneaky candidate to run away with the American League. Their pitching last year was very good, and it just seemed like they needed a star on the hitting side during that short series against the Guardians to really make a deep run in the playoffs. Reynolds can provide that star power in the playoffs, and coupled with the incoming Wander Franco, this should be one of the best lineup duos in the major leagues. Obviously, when talking about trades between the Pirates and Rays, that infamous trade looms large in everyone's mind, and remnants of that deal are reflected in mine, with former player to be named later Shane Baz headlining the return package to the Pirates, along with Jose Siri and Josh Lau. Jose Siri provides a moderately young, controllable center fielder for the option for the Pirates, and a valuable bridge player / trade asset in the future. Josh Lowe and Shane Baz are quote-unquote prospects in this deal. I say quote-unquote because they've already made their major league debuts, with extremely high ceilings as a frontline starter and a middle-of-the-order left-handed bat. One possible thing hindering this trade, however, is the Rays' management style. You've never really seen them acquire stars like this, and although the trade market does make sense for both the Rays and the Pirates on paper, maybe the Rays value this guy more than they really like Reynolds. The Astros have been in search for that power-hitting outfielder throughout this offseason. They were in talks with Dalton Varsho and the Arizona Diamondbacks and almost seemed to facilitate a trade before he got shipped off to the Blue Jays for a haul more than what the Astros were willing to give up. However, what this shows is that the Astros are all in for an outfielder and are willing to use the trade market to acquire one such as Bryan Reynolds. Like the Rays, they have a respectable center fielder of their own in Chas McCormick. Also, they would like to improve their lineup in order to gear up for a title defense in 2023. The Astros, despite letting a few of their stars walk in free agency, have the capital to keep Reynolds in Houston long term, and he would bat in the 3-hole, get in scoring position, and then get driven home by Yordan Alvarez for many years to come. And that would be one of the deepest and best lineups we've seen in the 21st century, especially after adding Jose Abreu. Although the Astros farm system is not elite by any means, they can still afford Reynolds by throwing in a couple of major league pieces of their own, with their current center fielder in Chas McCormick and their young reliever in Bryan Abreu, coupled with catcher Yainer Diaz. It would be enough for the Pirates to be willing to ship off Bryan Reynolds to the Astros. Now, Chas McCormick has the potential to be the Pirates center fielder long-term, as well as Abreu being the long-term closer. This move also makes a possible David Bednar trade possible, bringing in even more young players for the Pirates. It would be very interesting to see what the Pirates do with Yainer Diaz long-term though. They are a very deep team at catcher, headlined by former number 1 overall pick Henry Davis, and it would be interesting to see that. You know, while making that Rangers video, I tried to include a Bryan Reynolds deal. However, I couldn't make a Reynolds deal possible without including heavy futures that could severely jeopardize the long-term future of that team. That's why I decided to go a couple of tiers lower with them acquiring Jared Kelenic instead. However, if the Rangers really feel like they can win with this current core of players, then by all means this trade can certainly be a catalyst for a window of Rangers contention. Obviously, there is a need in center field there, and although Reynolds isn't the best center fielder defensively, his gap-to-gap power should fit well in Globe Life Park. However, in terms of young major league talent that the Rangers would be willing to give up, there isn't much talent outside of Josh Young, who I was able to omit. In my trade, I have only minor leaguers going over, with Brock Porter, Luis Angel Acuna, Owen White, and Evan Carter. By doing this trade, the Rangers are able to acquire Reynolds to aid their current core of players, while taking nothing out of it and merely sacrificing the depth in their farm system. For the Pirates, they go with quantity over quality by acquiring 4 really solid prospects who are now entering the higher levels of the minors. The chances are pretty high that one, if not a couple studs, stick it in the major leagues and become all-stars. Like the Dodgers, it would seem criminal not to put the Yankees on this list when looking at possible trade rumors involving a player of Reynolds' caliber. Unlike the Dodgers, the Yankees have actively pursued Reynolds for some time now, and have had the need on paper for some more talent after being shown the door by the Astros handedly. Defensively, it would be interesting to see where Reynolds plays. He's a poor defensive center fielder, and Judge is above average there. Perhaps Reynolds can play some corner outfield to improve his overall defensive play. However, what won't change is that power behind his bat, which may see some improvements in terms of the home run ball while playing in Yankee Stadium. Moving on to the Yankees farm system now, they have amassed a steady stream of guys by masterfully handling the international signing pool and draft despite constantly having lower picks. Furthermore, they have a decent surplus of quality position prospects in the middle infield and outfield. It would just make sense for a trade to trade for a player like Reynolds. My trade is steep though, with them sending over Oswald Peraza, Everson Pereira, Harrison Bader, and Clark Schmidt. By doing this, they do offset some salary with Bader, while also holding onto some of their best prospects like Jason Dominguez and Anthony Volpe. For the Pirates, they acquire 3 young studs in Peraza, Pereira, and Schmidt. Each of them are already relatively refined and can play in the major leagues right now, while also having all-star upside as being formerly top prospects. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. Again, as spring training approaches, I can do some prediction videos. While the major leagues is approaching, I'll do the fantasy baseball like what I did last year. And then during the season, I can just maybe do some reaction videos or more trades. If you guys seem to like this video, let me know what other players I can do trades of. Off the top of my head, I really can't think of any, to be completely honest. Maybe Pablo Lopez, but that seems more like a mid-season video. But let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.